stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers. Those are the people calling all the shots. Many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem, and they are demanding answers and they are demanding changes. It seems like a lot of them are kind of being told what to do. There are other people pulling the strings above them. What actually happens is that we have a competition committee for stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers, and that competition committee is the committee that dictates the state of the game. Officiating in the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlyn Clark was subject to several intentional fouls. The referees who were refereeing the Fever and Liberty game, that one of the referees seems like his only experience was actually refereeing high school games.
If the WNBA is not rigged, they're doing a great job of making it look like it's rigged. Because if you guys didn't see the referees literally, they made a bad call. And if you guys have ever played sports, you know that like when a referee knows they've screwed up, they will do everything they can to not talk to the players. They are running away from the Indiana Fever players. As you can see, like it's not just Caitlyn Clark, it's Sophie Cunningham. And he's like, no, I'm not looking. No. And you know bad refs, because again, I live in a country where there are good refs and the good refs know who they are, but the standard of refereeing is absolutely shocking. And like I've seen referees be talking to coaches, and then mid-conversation, just when they know they're in the wrong, mid-conversation just turn around and start ignoring players. If it wasn't for the fact that the WNBA is a professional sports league. This would be funny if the WNBA was not a pro sports league. Straight up, it would be funny.
The moment that final play hit social media, everything changed. At first, it seemed like just another intense WNBA matchup. Tight defense, seconds on the clock, and Caitlyn Clark holding the ball. With 1 second left, she went up for the shot. There was contact, no whistle, and no basket. Silence followed. But the replays told a different story. Fans could clearly see the bumps, the grabs, the arm contact, all in a single possession. Yet no foul was called. Viewers were stunned, players looked frustrated, and even commentators hesitated, unsure how to explain it. Within minutes, the footage spread online. Fans slowed it down, circled the moments of contact, and demanded answers. This wasn't the first time Clark had absorbed heavy defense without much protection, but this time the stakes were high, and the evidence was undeniable. Soon, the league faced a wave of backlash. Complaints poured in, emails, phone calls, media coverage. Former players weighed in publicly, while current ones stayed quiet but visibly concerned. The conversation shifted from a single missed call to something bigger, whether the officiating system itself was fair and consistent. Then came the turning point. The referee involved in that play was suddenly removed from upcoming assignments. No big announcement, just a quiet suspension that left fans with more questions than answers. Had the league finally acknowledged a problem? Or was it just an attempt at damage control? Speculation grew when reports surfaced of internal documents and testimony suggesting pressure on officials to manage games more carefully during high-profile matchups. According to those reports, the guidance often centered on how to handle Caitlyn Clark. While nothing was confirmed, the perception spread quickly. Some referees felt pushed to let more physical play slide when she was involved. That's when the story escalated further. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver stepped in, confirming that an internal review was underway. His statement made clear that evidence had surfaced and that leadership within the WNBA would be scrutinized. For the first time in league history, fans saw accountability reach the very top. The response was immediate. Major outlets covered it nonstop, fans debated across social media, and coaches were peppered with questions. What exactly was going on behind closed doors? Who knew what and when? At the center of it all was one truth. Caitlyn Clark's rise had changed everything. Her presence brought record ratings, packed arenas, and national attention like never before. But it also highlighted the league's growing pains. Over-reliance on a single star, questions about fair officiating, and whether leadership could adapt to the spotlight. What began as a missed call had now grown into a conversation about trust, credibility, and the future of the WNBA. Caitlyn Clark wasn't being stopped from playing well. The goal was to make every basket and every play harder than it had to be. Night after night, she took tough hits that officials let go. Still, she kept scoring, passing, and leading her team until the strain finally caught up with her. When she went down with a quad injury, fans knew this wasn't just random bad luck. They had been watching the pattern for weeks. The fouls ignored, the physical play, the frustration on her face when she looked to the referee and got no call. The injury felt less like chance and more like the result of what had been happening all season. Behind closed doors, referees quietly started speaking out. They described a culture where those who stayed quiet and followed the plan were rewarded, while those who raised concerns were pushed aside. One said he was directly told, "Call it tight for everyone else, but not for her." Another explained how league reviews, normally used to improve officiating, were being used as warnings. If a referee gave Clark too many free throws, he would be flagged. But if he allowed her to take hard contact without a whistle, nothing happened. Meanwhile, fans were doing their own research. Online video compilations began circulating, showing clear missed calls, arm grabs, body checks, shoulder hits, all overlooked. At first, people brushed them off as part of the game. But in light of the new information, the clips told a very different story. The WNBA stayed silent publicly, but NBA Commissioner Adam Silver had already stepped in. By suspending Commissioner Engelbert, he wasn't just protecting Clark, he was protecting the credibility of basketball itself. His message was clear. What happens in the WNBA reflects on the entire sport, and it couldn't be ignored. The impact was immediate. Sponsors started demanding answers. TV networks wanted updates. Players who had stayed quiet began speaking up. Kelsey Mitchell, one of Clark's teammates, said in a post-game interview, "You've got to protect your stars. If they go down, what are we even building here?" Well-known basketball voices like Charles Barkley accused the league of failing to protect its future. And Clark herself, while sidelined, kept her response professional but firm. "I just want fairness. I've never asked for special treatment, only that fouls are called when they happen." Her calm words carried visible frustration. By then, the damage was done. The league's most popular player had been treated unfairly, referees admitted there was pressure behind the scenes, and the commissioner was at the center of it all. What started as whispers had now become a full reckoning. More referees came forward under confidentiality agreements, confirming that they had been told to let the game breathe and don't bail her out. Then came the final blow. A suspended referee gave a sworn statement admitting he was instructed before the season even began that Clark's calls should be judged more loosely and that physical play against her should be allowed. The real turning point came when a referee admitted something that shook the entire league. He said he was paid for going along with instructions. That single line changed everything. Suddenly, it wasn't rumor anymore, it was proof. He didn't name names, but he explained that the orders came from high-level offices and the payments were framed as bonuses tied to how certain games were managed. When asked further, he made it clear these incentives were tied to keeping matchups under league control. Although he never directly mentioned Cathy Engelbert, the implication was strong enough to send shockwaves through the WNBA. With Adam Silver already supervising the case, the NBA's compliance team widened the probe. They dug into money trails, emails, and even internal meeting records. What they found only confirmed what many had suspected. Investigators uncovered memos from the league's leadership, issued early in Caitlyn Clark's rookie season. These messages used polished language about maintaining discipline in officiating and managing perception, but investigators believed they were coded instructions on how games should be handled. Meanwhile, Engelbert stayed out of the spotlight. She refused interviews, shut down her social media, and let her lawyers issue one short statement. She denied any wrongdoing and asked for a fair review. But outside the courtroom, the judgment was already taking shape. Players began speaking up, saying they had noticed unfair treatment but felt powerless to challenge it. Coaches filed delayed complaints. Analysts compiled hours of footage showing missed calls against Clark. A digital trail began forming that showed a clear pattern of neglect. Fans and sponsors noticed too. A major shoe brand quietly delayed a Clark-themed campaign, and TV networks started softening their WNBA promotions. It wasn't an official boycott, but it was a warning. That left one burning question: what would Adam Silver do? Silver had already suspended Engelbert, but many wanted stronger action, real reform. And then, in a move no one saw coming, he announced an emergency summit open to players, coaches, and the press. It would be live, unfiltered, and public. Standing in front of a packed hall with cameras rolling, Silver didn't hold back. This investigation revealed a violation of the league's core values of fairness, he said. Then came the bombshell. He confirmed that Engelbert had authorized communications that influenced how games involving Clark were officiated. While he avoided the word bribery, he admitted that the memos and conversations created a culture of undue influence. He called the referee's testimony credible and described Engelbert's leadership as manipulative. And then, the final blow. Effective immediately, Cathy Engelbert was removed as WNBA commissioner. The room went silent. Soon after, Silver announced an interim leadership team made up of former players, coaches, and executives to rebuild trust. Their first task: a full review of officiating protocols and the creation of an independent board to oversee referee performance. The crowd responded with cautious applause. It wasn't the end, but it was a beginning. As for Caitlyn Clark, she returned to the court just days later. But now she wasn't only an athlete, she was the face of reform. Every play she made reminded fans what had almost been lost. Not just one player's career, but the integrity of the sport itself.